The third quarter century of the Detroit Economic Club began with a distinct cultural phenomenon. The man in the gray flannel suit was suddenly a rock star. And who led the way? None other than Lee Iacocca, whose autobiography was among the first of the new genre of CEO memoir. In the age of Ronald Reagan, business was glamorous again. These new celebrities, T. Boone Pickens, H. Ross Perot, Malcolm Forbes, all took their turn at the podium. Detroit native Ivan Boesky spoke shortly before his downfall over insider trading. But maybe the spirit was best captured by the appearance of Ted Turner, whose speech was modestly titled, "What's on Ted Turner's Mind?" And if Reagan's administration made business sexy again, this club of business people liked it too. Many members of the administration came to town in the 80s. Elizabeth Dole, Ed Meese. They were also reminded not to forget other issues. Jesse Jackson urged them to keep jobs in the U.S. Desmond Tutu reminded them that profits made in South Africa were tainted by apartheid. After the election of the first President Bush in 1988, the nation fought a war over the Iraqi invasion of Kuwait. The first Gulf War ended so quickly that the early 90s came to be known less for soft landings than for a post-boom malaise. And it, the economy, stupid, dominated the first presidential campaign of the decade. In 1992, the nation rejected Bush for a second term and had its first Democratic president in 12 years. It was time for big changes in Detroit, too, as the city said farewell to Coleman Young after nearly 20 years and hello to Dennis Archer. The club began looking at one of the most important pieces of legislation for Detroit in years, the North American Free Trade Agreement. Things were looking up in southeast Michigan. Gas was cheap, and a new kind of car-truck hybrid began to catch on with car buyers, the sport utility vehicle. For the first time in a long while, the American auto industry was leading the way again, and every soccer mom wanted an SUV. Another new term entered the lexicon then too. Cyberspace. The growth of computer-related companies made their leaders the latest business stars. In 1997, the club broke records with the appearance of Bill Gates, chairman and CEO of Microsoft Corporation, drawing more than 7,000. But the terrorist attacks on September 11th, 2001 marked a new era. The economy faltered, and the nation moved into its second war in the Persian Gulf, which continues today. The rest of the country pulled out of the early decade recession, but not here. Manufacturing jobs began to trickle away. By the time of the Delphi bankruptcy filing in 2005, the long shadows had begun to fall over southeastern Michigan. The club welcomed many leaders to discuss these grim issues, but this being Detroit, we also remember that sports are a business too. The usual impressive speakers came through town, policymakers and presidents, and the club heard from an Illinois senator whose name would soon be well known around the world. In 2006, DEC President Beth Chappell had an idea that was as old as the Detroit Economic Club itself. Taking a cue from Alan Crow's confrontation of the Great Depression, she wanted the club to host a national summit, one that would result in a to-do list to increase competitiveness. The national summit drew 101 speakers and more than 4,000 participants in the depths of the 2009 economic crisis.